All right, wanted to expound on the superposition theory here for Kirchoff's, and it's much easier than the equation version because it lets you apply Ohm's law. And what I have done is I've taken the same circuit you got here and redrawn it in Fallstad just to have the things there. This is 12 volts. Of course, it doesn't matter. We've got it right here in front of us anyway. I'll actually just write that for us so we won't lose track of that. So I've taken out VA, and I only have VB in here, and I've got all the other values. Now, the hardest part with this is redrawing these circuits, but I'm going to show you it's not that hard. I'm going to take this source right here, which is 12 volts, and again, I do apologize for my drawing skills. I'll try to be a little more careful. So there's our 12 volt source right here. Now we know we leave out of the positive side and go through a 6 ohm, go through a 9 ohm, and come back to a negative. So I'm going to kind of redraw that. There's our 6 ohm, and there's our 9 ohm, and back to negative. So that is 6 ohms, R2. That is 6 ohms. And R3 is our 9 ohm. And we're going to double check that again just to be sure that we didn't violate anything here. But we left out of our positive and we went through a 6 ohm, left out of our positive and went through a 6 ohm, went through a 9 ohm and came back to our negative. So this circuit matches thus far. Now we got to deal with R1 over here. So R1 says we leave through our 6 ohm, we come to the junction of the 9 and 12. So we would go through our 6 ohm, we come to the junction of our 9 and 12, and we return back to our negative if we go through this other guy over here. So essentially, this circuit is really this, R1. We're going to explore that just a little bit more. 12 ohms here. So we leave out of our positive. We have to go through R2. No way. If we're going up, we're going to go through R2, which is this 6 ohm right here. Now when we go out of our 6 ohm, we can either go through our 12 to get back to our negative or go through our 9 and get back to our negative. So we can either go through 9 ohm to get back to negative or our 12 ohm to get back to negative. And you see that the bottom part, the negative side of both the 9 and 12 are connected. So this is a good drawing for us. Now the other thing we need to do is we need to establish current flow. So I'm just going to leave from my positive and go back to my negative. So we know that this is a plus and this is a minus because the long line is always positive. But this way, current, we're saying current's flowing this away, that away, and this way. Now it doesn't matter if we're wrong with this because I'll show you in just a moment. But we're going to go ahead and solve this first circuit here real quick, and then we're going to redo for the second part. So let's do that. So a 9 in parallel with 12. My head definitely isn't working on that one this morning. So 9 times 12 equals, divided by 21 equals, so about 5.14. So if we redraw this guy, I'm going to try to do it tiny. We come up with, yellow, but that's okay. We come up with this right here. This is still 12 volts, and yes, it's supposed to be connected, but just indulge me. So this is R2, 6 ohms. This is R1 and 3. 3 is 5.14 ohms. So we now know we don't have to go any further. Let me write these in black up here. We know that V total, that's not black, is it? on the first color. There we go. V, well, there we go. V total, I guess yellow actually worked better. Let's go back. V total is 12 volts. R total is equal to 11.14. And I total is going to be a little more than 1 when we do the math. So 12 divided by 11.14. Equals 1.08 if we do a little rounding there, which will be acceptable. 1.08. Wow, that is one fat zero there. Let's try that one more time. 1.08. That is a sorry period there. There we go, a little better. So 12 volts, 11.14 ohms, and 1.08 amps. So that takes care of the first one. Now we're going to redraw this again with this supply missing and this supply back. So I'm going to pause the video to do that. Alright, so this one's hopefully a bit more straightforward. It is a 6 volt source. So I'm going to draw that first. I'm going to try to make it as tiny as possible. 6 volts. And notice we have to leave our positive. We've got to go through R1 and we've got to go through R2 to get back to our negative. And don't worry about the fact that that other source is missing. It's okay, we're still coming back to negative. So this is 12 ohms. And this is R1. And this is R2. 6 ohms. So we left through R12, we got to R2, and went through it and came back to negative. Now there's a junction of R2 and the bottom of 12, or the right hand side of 12, and the top of the right of the R3. So essentially R3 is sitting here like this, and we come back to here. So here's R3. It's a 9 ohm. And there we go. So let's check it one more time. We leave our source, we go through our 12. No way to not miss that. We have to either go through R2 or R3 to get back to our negative. So there we go. So now let's redo this circuit in the way we did the one above. So I'm going to try to draw teeny tiny again. 6 volts. And so here's our 12 ohm. And 6 and 9 in parallel. Let's see, 6 times 9 is 54. Divided by 15, that's going to be an odd value. So this is still 12 ohms. Whoa, we'll go with that. It's a 12, it's just a giant long 12. So 9 and 6 ohms is 6 times 9 is 54, divided by 15 equals 3.6. So this guy, I'm going to have to write him on the inside. 3.6 ohms right here is the equivalent. So now it's just a matter of, well, we need to go back and identify our current flow here. So we're leaving our positive, and we're going that way, and we're coming down here, and we're coming down here. So here's what we've got now. We've got VT, I'll write it over here, VT is 6 volts, RT is equal to, what was it, 15.6. So therefore IT is going to be pretty small. I'll have to write it right here. Maybe less than 1. So let's have a look. 6 divided by 15.6 equals 0.38. Yes, 0.38. Now you're going to find out why these arrows are so important. Okay, so I added some things in. All I did was took this circuit and figured out the voltage drops. Of course, we already knew IT, so it's just a matter of taking 6 ohms times 1.08, getting that, getting this equivalent, which is 5.14 ohms, multiplying it by 1.08, and we got that. Then it was time to figure the currents, and of course R2 is getting all the current, and our IR1 and 3 are getting a split of that current, so it's just a matter of taking that 5.55, dividing it by 9 to get R3, 5.55 dividing it by 12 to get R1, and R1 and R3 do add up to R2, so we're good there. Same thing here, figuring out the drop here. Total current was 0.38, it sees it all, so R1 is 0.38, gives us a voltage drop. If we multiply it by 12 of 4.6, do the same thing here with the equivalent, which is 3.6. Divide multiply that equivalent times 0.38. That gives us 1.37, and then we can get the currents just by dividing that by 6 ohms for R2 and 9 ohms for R3, and those two added together do give us R1. Now here is where the magic kind of begins to happen, and I'm going to bring this over and cover up because this is what NIDA is asking me for. And we're going to look at the currents too, but voltage of R1. Now this is why those arrows are important. R1 is this 12 ohms. Notice they have opposing arrows. That means we're going to have to subtract. And we just subtract the lowest from the highest. So R1 here is 5.55. It's in this parallel branch, and it's seeing 5.55 volts. R1 here is seeing 4.6. So basically 5.55 minus 4.6 gives us 0.95, and that's volts. Do the same thing here for R2. R2 is the middle one. They have opposing arrows. We're going to have to subtract. So 6.48 minus 1.37. 6.48 minus 1.37 equals 5.11 volts. 5.11 volts. Got to do the same thing for R3, but they are going in the same direction, so we're going to have to add. So 1.37 for R3 here, 5.55 there. 5.55 plus 1.37 equals 6.92. 6.92 volts. And we would just do the same thing for the current. I'll see if we've got time real quick to do those. But we look at the current through R1, for instance, it's saying 80 milliamps. So let's look at that. So R1 here is the current on it was 0.38. I1 here was, IR1 here was 0.46. And let's see, R1. Okay. Okay, so we got 80 milliamps it's showing. These are given to us. So we've got 0.46 and 0.38. Remember, those opposed. So 0.46 minus 0.38 equals 0.08 amps or 80 milliamps. Now R2 also was subtracted. So 1.08 minus 0.23. 1.08 minus 0.23 equals 0.85, and that's 850, so 850 milliamps. And R3 was going to be additive, so 0.15 and 0.62, 0.62 plus 0.15 equals 0.77 or 770 milliamps. So this is why I like the superposition. I'm going to hit enter so you can see that we got it right. It's far easier than these equations. It's not easy, it's easier, but it is easier than the equations. We're out of time. If you have questions, let us know.